too late now. I think I hit Kofi. I'm finna see now. Kofi, I think. Before I click the L, it's too late now. Kofi, I think. Before I click the L, it's too late now. I think I hit Kofi. I'm finna see now. Alright, yeah, let's say I'm live. Peace, peace, Sister Juju, peace, Nasari. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, brother. Peace. Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna jump on into it with no delay. I know most people over there, but help me share the show real quick, y'all. We got 5 people watching right now. Help me share the show real quick and get a few more people in here, man, and I'll jump on in, man, with this little small presentation. Glad to see you though, Sister Juju. Glad to see you, Sister Juju. Where my share thing at? Share.
I'm mad at Juju.
You mad at Juju?
Yeah, Juju on my bad list.
What she done, man?
She know. She's supposed to do her presentation.
For the year I won.
Yep, I called her out on that. Then when we do our little shows, I feel like she's supposed to be a little bit further than what she is.
Yeah.
She's smart. You know, she's a smart sister, so my expectation for her a little bit higher than what she putting out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we gonna rectify this, Juju, but I need you to get a little bit better in your studies.
Peace, Saru, Asa. Like I said, y'all give me just a minute, man, and I'm get started. Just trying to share the show. Y'all help share the show real quick. Micah. Yeah, cool. Randy. Shoot, man, I'm not finna. Tiffany, T'Challa, P, Lisa, Sophie. Did I? Sophie. That's all I. Hold on, y'all, and then let me share these. Share this. Share story. Share. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Nation, real man, Kofi. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna kill that. All right, y'all. I'm finna get started. Let me do this. Okay, Sutek, you already done beat me to some of it. Let's see. Where the session at? Session. There it is. All right, I'm finna go and get started, y'all. I know, hold on, let me close this out too. I know a lot of people over there, Sean over there arguing with Brother Reggie about the same mess. Let me exit out of here. Go back in here. All right. Damn. Share my screen. All right. Let's see what I want to do now. Oh. Share with computer sound. All right, that's what I wanted. Hold on, y'all. Here I come, y'all. This damn thing here. Hey, let me know if anybody else pop in and on the chat, y'all.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man.
I'm raising my queens and kings, salute, now scream, I share. I share. I'm ripping my team, red, black, and green, queens and kings, salute, now scream, I share. I share. I share.
All right. I want to say peace and Black African power. Welcome to Kofi Piesie TV. Hold on, let me get Sean in here. Promote the panelists. All right, I want to say peace and Black African power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. I want to say Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E Ilakba, Egungun Kiki Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to give honor and praises to the true and living ancestors,
Man in the full
according to African traditions. I got brother Satepan Ra Mariaman on the panel. I got brother Sutek on the panel, and I got the troublemaker on the panel, brother Any California.
Troublemaker. Disrespect.
On the panel. Before I ain't no disrespect, but anyway.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Black African power, family. That's all I got.
Brothers Satep, brothers Sutek, y'all got something, man, before I jump into the presentation?
Nah, man, I just want to say peace to the fam, peace to the chat. Hopefully y'all ready. Get your notepad, your pencil out. You're ready to take notes, learn something. Just like the show, share the show. Let's get into it.
You still on, Satep, or you? I know you said you had to step off for a minute. Thanks to not Sutek, but Satep and Rod. I think he stepped out for a minute. But again, peace to everybody in the chat. Jonas, Sister Amber, Omar, Decent, Chief X, Lakeisha, Saru Osai, Lakeisha Dunn, Brother Vasa, Nicolo. Get in here, man. Get in here. But let's get into it. I ain't gonna keep y'all.
Kofi, I do got something I want to say real quick though before you go.
Go ahead.
I do. Outside of that, first, I just want to say that I do appreciate everybody that's tuning into the show today. Like the show, share the show. A lot of work goes into these presentations, and we appreciate the people who actually support presentations. Whether you support me or not, it doesn't matter. Just continue to show some support for the efforts that have been put forth by the people you do support. These presentations take time away from people and their families and their kids, and we try to bring you these presentations from a cultural perspective, so we can get a better understanding on our brothers and sisters abroad that are on the continent, and bring those traditions and the cultural perspectives in its indigenous, the best that we can in its indigenous form, regardless of our current circumstances dealing with colonialism and the influence of the European and Arab on some of these traditions that come from the continent. I know a lot of people don't know the work that has been done on this channel. So if this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel, because I am seeing some new faces, which is a good thing. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you can get it. Every last one of us on this panel has made a conservative effort to put information out to all, on this channel for everybody to learn from. And I think it's imperative that, at least have a little bit of respect to acknowledge what we're doing and the work we've done. And if you have a problem with our work, we don't mind you vetting our work. Just be respectful in your conjecture or your conviction when you're wanting to challenge something that we say. And if we miss something that you felt like it needed to be addressed, then we have no problem with correcting and putting forth that. We also write. We just don't present, we write. Kofi has the composition page. I have the memoirs of Inutu writing page as well. We both are on Black Panther's website as well, writing, and we're in Killmonger's Corner, which is the Conscious Community First Pan-African Journal. And we both, me, Satep and Ra, and Brother Kofi are members of the Seshu Mani Metanetra group, and Facebook group and like page, and so on and so forth. And we have published work as a team that we've put out for you as well. So support all cross channels. Thank y'all for tuning in. I already know what Kofi about to go in this presentation. He didn't change the icon today on his own merit, not mine. And I'm ready for this bill. Peace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, peace to that. Yeah, I see Chief X said, I told folks years ago, wherever there was caves, the peoples in the area utilize it. I hate the phrase cave because I was just saying that a while ago, man. We got to get out of the white man is the cave man. You know what I'm saying? We have Africans who lived in mountains and caves as well. We're gonna talk about these people today from Senegal. And hopefully this will set up something else because I got another presentation dealing with Senegal, actually with the Sira people. These people, the Bidek people, is not a part of the Sira people, but the Sira people are multiple difference of clans, and we're going to talk about their tradition of Fataru pretty soon. He also talked about our work. Please support our works. We do right and etc. I suppose I had a article dropping today, no, yesterday, but I'm not gonna drop it until next week. I got a few lit other things I'm gonna uh, put in it. It's gonna be a pretty long article because I want to make sure that people get a great understanding about comparing uh, Western um, society, religious institution with African tradition. So be on the lookout for that article next week sometime. It'll be published on Kofi Piesie written compositions.wordpress.com. But let's get into the presentation. The presentation is called The Bidek People of Senegal, Mountain Cave Living. All right, if I can go to the next slide. All right, I always have to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. My disclaimer is I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms are used at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, or signals and marks are used or cited by this website or the property of irrespective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available or adapt changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, additions, deletions are encouraged. Again, I always have to put a disclaimer out there, and Sean kind of touched on this while ago. We don't mind our information being critiqued. You know what I'm saying? We accept critique. We don't mind our sources being vented. We don't mind if we have made an error. We don't mind correcting that error. We don't mind improving our information as other things, uh, developments come into play. So as I learn, we all learn. This is a powerful saying to me. People that have been following me for a few years know that this is my saying. I love this saying. As I learn, we all learn. I feel like information is power. I feel like whatever we learn, we should pass it down, no matter what the information is. We should pass that information down to the. I ain't gonna say whatever information, as long as it's correct and exact information on whether we learning something. I think whatever it is learning, if it ain't nothing but learning to change a tire. I think that will be very vital to someone else down the line. So teach uh, or pass that information down to someone. But as I learned, we all learn. My other phrase, let's get this culture. Let's get this culture to me is also another phrase that I use that I think is also a powerful phrase to use because a lot of us don't understand our culture, and I understand why we don't understand our culture because over here uh, in America, we learn about someone else's culture and not our own culture. And if our own culture are mentioned by those culture who is being revered, it is uh, in a way, it's in a negative way. So over here with Kofi Piesie TV, Master Warrior Clan, Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, we're gonna try our best to give you a understanding of African culture. All right, before I present on the Baghdad, let's talk about the Senegals and how different ethnic groups ended up there. All right, the history of the Senegal. Archaeologists finding that indicated that the Senegal areas has been inhabited since prehistoric times. For the last millennium, at least, trade routes have helped shape the area. Trans-Sahara trades flow from the interior of Africa, help to establish, maintain the Ghana, Mali, and Jolof Empire, each which bordered the including portions of the modern-day Senegal. Trades and conquests brought wealth, Islam, and people into the region, and sometimes pushed people out. So you can see a lot of the people in Senegal, like I talk about the Syro people, and we'll get more into the Syro people, or touch on the Syro people when me and Brother Ben do their Fataru presentation, their indigenous tradition. Um, um, there, but you can see a lot of those different groups that came in, they was pushed out via the Atlantic slave trade, colonism, uh, and so forth. Portuguese traders reached the estuaries of the Senegal River in the mid 1400s. Over the next four centuries, the direct trade shifted. Instead of heading inland toward the Sahara, in the beginning flowed outward toward the European trades of the Atlantic coast. As the colonial powers began to push further inland themselves in the 19th century, they eventually brought an end to the local kingdoms of actual further spreads of Islam, which became a way of uniting against the European invaders. And also a lot of people in Senegal now they do practice Islam. Slave ratings and the tradings were major sources of revenue for the region kings and the islands of Goree. Just a mile off of the coast, Senegal, opposite of Dakar, became the largest slave trade center in Africa, controlled in the various times of the Portuguese, Dutch, English, French, and the islands served as a warehouse where over 200 period millions of slaves taken from their homeland. The island of the House of Slave Museum Memorial is now a pilgrimage destination for the America diaspora from the slave trade. The French took control of Senegal in the 19th century, while the Gambians became the British colony. Senegal gained its independence in 1960 and Gambia in 1965. I'm just giving y'all a few history on Senegal and how a lot of the people ended up in Senegal via the slave trade, colonialism, and the Arabs invasion. Before we talk about the Bidek people. The migration of the ethnic groups in Senegal region. Senegal current population is believed to be a mixture of people who moved into the region from the north and the east. Despite the relative small, the areas is home of several ethnic groups. Today, the prominent populations are the Wolof, the Fula, the Sira, and others of the Jolof and the Mandiki people. So these are the people that cohabitate Senegal now. Again, the Wolof is at 43%, the Fula is at 23%, and the Sira people is at 14%. And again, like I said, we'll talk more about the Sira and those different ethnic groups or clans that call themselves the Sira. There are multiple groups that call themselves the Sira, and others including the Jollof and the Mandinka. Now the Badak people are ancient cave living Aragon minority Tenda/Minki speaking people occupy in the most isolated areas in eastern Senegal. The Aradosamink of the Bafasa. The Badak people lived apart from society. They lived in cave caves and mountains off without life. So these people lived in the caves in the mountains. So again, we can get away from the white man being the caveman. African people also lived in caves. These are not the first, the Badak people are not the first people who lived in caves in Africa. There are other groups that lived in caves in Africa. I mentioned a group a while back here from Tanzania who also lived in caves. So African people do live in caves also, have lived in caves also. All right, history. The Badak migration from the ancient Mali Empire. Their ancestors are families of the Kita, the Camara, and they came from Mali because of the war led by the Alafa Yayi coming from the Futa Dalajan. The ancestral village of Adu was first settled atop of the sleep plateaus of the Kembra family. So again, a lot of the people that are in Senegal migrated into Senegal due to wars, due to invasions again through slaves. I mean, there's the slave trade and etc. According to the folklores, bees are important parts of the histories of the Oro. When the Alpha Yaya attacked them from the base of the Guana to convert them to Islam, they fled into the surrounding hills, hiding in the caves. This is how they ended up there. But realizing that they could not defeat the Yayi and his army, they offered their 12 finest young men as a sacrifice to the village guardian spirit so that the village could be saved. The spirit accepted this offer to send swarm of bees to attack the Yayi soldiers. The stings were bad that they all fell down dead on the spot. Only Yayi himself survived, and the Bidek got their village back. Now this is a story. Now this is a folklore. This is not real. This is a folklore that they tell, and a lot of different ethnic groups, you know, that they have their totems. The totems um um consist of insects and animals and etc. And theirs was the bees. Their bees, and due to all the folklores, if you study African tradition, when you deal with their folk tales and their folklores, they always their stories or the folklores always talks about animals, or it always involved animals, or it always involved insects. And this story is just the folklore is just talking about the invasion of the Arabs coming in, and this is why they made a story behind the bees. They revere bees. This stories is revolved around the bees coming in and helping them against the Arab invasion or the Arab attack, trying to take over their land and etc. As at one side of the village is old, Gauns Balboa trees, some 23 in circumference. This sprout many centuries ago in the burial place some members of the Cameron family, which somehow makes it sacred. As the bees now nest in it, it's supposed to be doubly sacred. A nice byproduct of this is honey, which the Bidek added to the palm wine to make a delicious mead drink. So also, not only is the bees, which is a part of their folklores, which the bees help save them against the Arab invasion, according to their folklore. So the bees is a part of their totem, and the bees are also sacred, and the Balboa tree is also sacred. So if you study Senegal, you will see that the Baobab tree in Senegal is also sacred, not only just to the Bidek people, but it is also sacred to the Bidek people because the bees also nest there and also produces honey, which therefore they can make money and etc. off of the bee honey. So the Baobab tree is also, again, is also sacred in Senegal. Now here is Brother Ben. Brother Ben is in Senegal here, and Brother Ben also belongs to a group, or I'm gonna say a clan in Senegal. Uh, um, he is a part of the Njai clan. Brother Ben's, who we call Black Panther, who also is part of the Masi Warrior clan, or the founder of the Masi Warrior clan. Um, his name is Benjamin Njai. Njai is actually his clan's name. His father is from Senegal, and he's in Senegal visiting. He's been in Senegal, I think, maybe twice, but this is him standing at the Balboa tree. And the Sira people, he is a part of the Sira people. The Sira people is broke up into different clans, and we'll talk about that once we get into the Fataru presentation. But the Njai clan is a part of the Sira people. So this is Brother Ben, who is actually standing and touching this big Baobab tree, which is sacred in Senegal.
Hey, Kofi, before you go on, let buy our song real quick.
Okay. All right, he should be good. All right. So let's go to the next slide. I don't know why this thing here be doing this, man. Okay. All right. Since then, the village has grown to include two more families, the Kanti and the Kiti. The Kiti originally lived in caves on the adjacent mountains where they worked as blacksmiths. When the Camaro family became tired and hiking so far to purchase their iron tools, they ultimately invited the Kanti to live at the Adu where they continued to work iron and make other crafts such as pottery. The Kanti also supervised rituals such as initial ceremonies that continue to exist alongside the adoption of Catholicism. As the above slide, the Bideks are now Catholic. They are at the same time still animists. And I'm gonna talk about that. Well, we know through the different invasions, we had the British, the French, um, especially the French that also came in. Most of the people in Senegal also, predominantly of the people in Senegal speak French. Um, and this word enemies, I'm gonna talk about a little bit more. I'm gonna give a definition at the bottom of eminence, but I'm gonna go further in depth into these things in my article that I'll be putting out next week. It's gonna be a full length article. It's the name of it is confusion, misunderstanding, and ignorance about African traditional religion and how it's attacked by Western society and our unstudied. It is all again, yes, it is attacked by our own people that is unstudied in the culture. But and I'm gonna be talking about a lot of these derogatory terms that we use and a lot of scholars use. So where are a lot of these terms coming? So I know y'all here when we talk about African cultures, you always hear the word animist, you hear the word primitive, um, you hear the word
Fetish.
traditional, fetish, and I'm gonna break all that down in the article. I'm gonna break all that down and show you where all these terms come from. So be on the lookout for that full length of article. Like I said, it's gonna be a lengthy article, but I'm gonna be talking about a whole lot of different things and why we shouldn't compare African traditions to Western Western religious institutions. But let's get back into the presentation. Having decided apparently to maintain their alongside the Catholicism, and again, a lot of these people are Muslims as well as Christians. We had the Arabs who came into Senegal, and we had the French who also came into Senegal. And we know, and once these people come in and take over these lands, they begin to convert the indigenous people into their way of life. So alongside the slides, the Bidek Catholics, they are the same time still enemies, having decided apparently to maintain this alongside the Catholics so as not to lose their tradition. It is important part of those traditions is to annually initial ceremonies by which the boys of this is nearby village come to age. While the whole initiation takes some 5 months, such it takes place out of the sacred forest. It begins with a public ceremony in the village, and it was this had to come to see. So most you see this with any tradition or any group that we have talked about on this channel or Master Warrior Clan channel, where we talk about initiatory rites, or we talking about a coming to age uh, um, demarcation stage where these young men and young women go through these certain types of initiatory rites. They learn certain types of things. They prove themselves by doing certain types of things and etc. But animism, let's talk about animism real quick. Animism, for the Latin anima, breath, spirit, life. It is a religious belief that the objects, place, or creations all possess a distinct spirit essence. Potentially, animism perceive all things, animal, plants, rocks, rivers, weather systems, humans, handiwork, and perhaps even words as animated and alive. So we have animated and inanimated. And African culture or a lot of the ethnic groups believe that everything has a spirit, whether it's inanimated or animated, meaning whether it's immovable or it's immovable. Everything on this plane of existence has a spirit or it has energy. And like I said, I'll talk more about that in my article, which will drop next week on Kofi Piesie Written Compositions .com.wordpress. A man of Kiti family first arrived from the neighborhood village in the Oval after many of the children had died for sorcery. Recognizing the power and the wisdom of this man, the cameras of the Kiti family naturally invited him to become their chief. It is humility. However, the first Kinti invited a brother from Uwo to come to rule over the village. Hence, the Kinti remains chief of the Adu today, despite of the primaries of the Cameroon families and the economic and the rituals of the power of the Kinti. The economic of the Bidek. The Bidek people were traditional hunter-gatherers. How they are now engaged in a semi-nomadic economic. They keep livestock such as goats, chickens, and cattle. The Bidek farm the rough terrain atop of the plateau. Although many Bideks, who numbers only a few thousand, have begun to move down from the plateau to send their children to school to cultivate more land, their village remains important culture centers recently added to the UNESCO's of the Heritage List's Powell Village of the south of Didafilo. So a lot of the Bidek people have come down out of the caves and they have come down, you know what I'm saying, to make a better way for their children. So they're starting to come down and put their children into school and also teach them, you know, about agriculture, teach them about how to cultivate the land, how to plant, you know, how to plant things, and etc. Um, Villagers are also served separately. The Bideks are rarely use sugar in their food. They raise poultry, sheep, goats, but they sell them rather than use them for their own consumption. This is the Baghdad cattle. This is in Senegal. This is what some of their houses look like. Boys' initiations. It starts with a presentation by each boy of a cockerel to the village spirit. The cockerel is slaughtered, cut open, and colored with the inside of its testicles checked. A healthy white and the boy may be initiated, but if this is black, then further consultations with the spirits are required. In the worst case, it may decide that it would be bad luck for the boys to be initiated and he was to come back again the next year. So this is a procedure that the Bidek people would take when the boys reached a certain age where they're now trying to be recognized as an adult in the community. So now they have to go to their initiatory rights, which would be the adult right. So here certain things that they will do right here to let them know if it's good for them to go through with the procedure. If not, then they will have to come back next year to go through the procedure. Thankful this spiteful traumatic experience for the boys is rare, and this year all 18 boys were able to continue. The cockerel is plucked and cooked over the coals and skewed with a big stick that is placed in the roof of the initiation home to mark its location. Then the mask appeal from the hills. And a lot also when they're doing certain sacrifices where they're sacrificing animals and etc. These animals are after sacrifice, these animals are cooked, and some ethnic groups after the animals are cooked, they are eating as well. It marks its location. Then the mask appears to the hills. Men from the village of the mask, costumes made from Raphael and leaves carry big sticks and huntings for the boys. They find huts with their chickens and try to take the boys, but the villagers are prepared and protected the boys while fighting back against the mass with their own big sticks. And you can see here the same thing when you're dealing with the bundle Sandy societies. There are certain individuals will come in doing the initiatory rites. And again, doing the initiatory rites, again, the forest is also sacred. So anytime they are going through their rites of passage, whether it's the birthing / naming, whether it's the adult rite, whether it is the marriage rite, whether it is the elder scarification right, whether it's the tattooing right, whether it's the ancestors right, was particularly with these um, puberty rights, where you be the adult right, they will be excluded off into the forest, which again, the forest is sacred to a lot of these ethnic groups. But and some of these groups, they put on these certain types of acts. And again, I think this is where a lot of the performance arts come from. I did a presentation, I can't remember the name of the presentation, but I talk about where the performance arts come from. So a lot of times they are reacting out different things, and here is no different. Here they are acting out different things. The boys are fighting against these characters who are coming into to the community. It is actually quite chaotic, and it seems some people do end up with some big bruises, but everyone involved in the sport, big grins, and obviously the event that the villagers really enjoy. The boys were also distinctive adornment. Once circumcised, each boy began to wear an earring and a knife at his waist. They claim the knife is not for defense, but as a working tool. So you can see here, I have a picture of some of the young boys here. They are now uh, becoming well, actually going through a phase where they're no longer being recognized as a child in their community, but being recognized as a adult. If the Bidek loves a young girl, he must obtain a cola nuts, calabash, or a handmade cloth to the meters long and bring all these things to the girl's family. If a girl and her family are not interested, they will return everything in a coup of the hour. However, if the family keeps the present, this means that the girl loves him too. And also, you see this a lot in other ethnic groups as well, where the family will have to give a dowry in order to be married to where you was the males will have to give a dowry in order to be married to a young woman. um Also, you see where the boys, they are giving cola nuts, and the dowries, most of the times the dowries would be cattle. So and yeah, most of the times the dowries will be cattle. But you see where some things where they give clothing and food. And going back to Burkina Faso, if you look at the presentation I did with in Burkina Faso, um with the Bajagon people. The Bajagon people was a matriarchic family, but the women, it was reversed. The women, if the woman was interested in the man, then they will give certain types of food. They will put plates of food, offer food, and put the food at the front of the door and give the food to the family. And if the man accepted and ate the food, then the man uh saying he is interested in the woman and also taking her hand in marriage. Um the boys has to prepare a diary for his future in-law. $50, one cow, one sheep, and one goat. So you see here, the boys, as I said, will have to give a certain type of dowry. And cattle in some families, what I'm saying, it's not easy to come by. So you have, but this is a part of a lot of the ethnic groups in Africa. This is their tradition. They have to pay to be married or be wed to a certain female. So they have to pay these things to the woman's or the young lady's family. So here, dealing with the Bidek people in Senegal, the young man, he will have to pay $50, one cow, one sheep, and one goat. Once accepted by the girl's family, the wedding ceremony will unite the two families and also the two villages. The bridegrooms provided enough millet wines and satisfy all who attends. After the weddings, the girl's family will go back home to live with their daughters and her husband for better or for worse. And also the marriage, them joining uh, to be wedded in marriage, it also strengthens the family. As I talk about for marriage also strengthens the family. It may bring two families that may be warring against each other, um what I'm saying, bring them together. It may also strengthen the family by the marriage. These two families are now coming together, so there are strength in numbers. So now they're able to do more for their families or more for their communities because they are more in numbers now. Over the following few days, one can hear occasionally drumming and shrieking coming from a special built little hut in the middle of the village, and the boys emerge from time to time to parade around it. Their appearances suggested the girls at this point. With the elaborate hairdos and earrings, their they stamp their feet rhythmically as they move, so a bunch of iron hooks dangle and their back jangles loudly. Uh, what was it? Uh, the boys move as if exhausted and have one or two villagers who support each of them. Although occasionally the boys throw off the support and try to make a run for the church at the top of the hill from where the girls are watching the ceremonies. They are also caught and pulled back before getting there, however. So this is just a certain ceremony that these boys are going through their initiatory rites here. And again, any type of ceremony, any type of festival, you will also, there are drums there. There are always drums. There are always something, drums, singing, dancing. But the drums are particularly everywhere in um, in the fields harvesting. You're gonna have drums there. They can be having some type of festival. The drums are there. They can be having a wedding ceremony. The drums are there. They can be having some type of ritual. The drums are there. Feedings. The drums are there. So the drums are involved in everything in most of these ethnic acting groups. The Baghdad girls' unique hairstyles and a lot of these ceremonies too are also put on to attract the females. And you see this also if you go back to East Africa to the Karo people. The Karo people are the Karo people. They also do the same thing. They have certain things uh, um, where the boys and the girls would do a certain type of ceremony. The boys would do a certain type of thing to attract the certain girls. The Baghdad girls usually hairstyles are characterized by one big plait on top of the head and several small plaits on the side. Here is a plait of a young lady here. This is a one of their hairstyle. Well, one of their popular hairstyle. Here's another popular hairstyle of another young lady. And again, you can see this young lady. She's um. Hold on, let me. God, hold on, y'all. Oh, man. All right, battery about to go dead. But what I was saying here, you can see this young ladies right here, um, and she have on traditional I guess traditional wear. What I mean by traditional wear, I know she don't have a shirt on, but brothers, please have some discipline. Um, but she has on beads. She has on beads. She has on coral shells, and we emphasize this a lot on Kofi Piesie TV. We emphasize this a lot on Mossy Warrior Clan channel. Most ethnic groups in Africa don't wear crystals and don't wear stones. So you can see she has beads and she has coral shells on. So a lot of what they use are coral shells. You can see here, the young lady has coral shells around her neck. You can see here the young lady has beads around her neck. So they decorate, they decorate their necklaces, they decorate their armband. She has beads around her arm. This armband that she has on, she has beads on. So they wear beads and they wear coral shells. They also decorate their clothing with coral shells. They also and beads. They also decorate their headdresses with beads and with coral shells. No crystals and no stones. And I know, and I'm not knocking anybody that sells stones or crystals, but stones and crystals are part of the Hindu culture, and it's not a part of the African culture. So we got to stop mixing the two. Here is another picture of another lovely young Bidek woman. She also has beads and coral shells on as well, and the popular hairstyle with the uh, plaits in the front of the head. All right, the Bidek mask. The Bidek mask has a marvelous, almost elephant-like tree fiber face. Surrounding this are perhaps 1,000 leaves that are attached onto a large body costume. So what you're seeing look like a bush coming out of the sacred forest. And again, doing these types of not rituals, these types of initiatory ceremonies, again, um, um, certain people are dressed up as certain types of characters. These characters may represent good spirits. These characters may represent um, bad spirits, and also they may represent something as a learning lesson or a learning tool. And also, you will see a lot of these characters dressed up in these different masks, different types of costumes, with what y'all would call the coming out party. A lot of y'all may be familiar with that. They may be a part of these fraternities. They may be part of these college fraternities. May be part of these college sororities. Where once you go through whatever you go through with this fraternity or you go through with this sorority, you have a coming out party. And it is no different. You know, these are where a lot of these sororities, fraternities, and Masonic organizations their extract a lot of their ideals from. And once you have proven yourself through your rites of passage by learning certain types of things, learning certain types of information, being tested, going through certain things, doing certain things, and now you are is included back into the community. Because again, once you go through what you go through your initiatory rites, you are going into what they call the sacred grove or the sacred forest. Again, in Africa, the forest is considered to be sacred. So when you go through these demarcation stages, especially the adult rites of passage, you are excluded from the community. And once you have passed your test or you have met these suitable proficiencies, now you are brought back into the community. Um, um, and they have what we would call coming out parties. People dressed up in these costumes, they are dancing, they are celebrating, they are feeding, and now the whole community is now acknowledging you from being um, uh, uh, as an adult. Now you are no longer recognized in the community as a child, but as an adult. According to the Bidek people, the sacred forest is the home of these spiritual masses who came out of the forest to bless the crops. The members of the sacred mass societies are the only ones allowed to enter the mystical grove where the mass dwell. Their roles is to enter all of the houses and to go into every nook and cranny of the village and make sure that there is nothing evil or negative that could impact in a bad way the agriculture activities that soon take place. So this character here, this is a character who goes into their community because one of their vital thing of sustaining their life is their agriculture. You know what I'm saying? Their cattle, their plants, and etc. So this character here goes into the community, goes into all the houses, into the villages, and to make sure that there is no negative or evil uh, thing that may impact them from having a bad year. You know what I'm saying? Doing their agriculture activities. I can't even speak. But that's it. That's all. That's it, man. That's the end of the presentation. Like I said, I didn't want it to be a long presentation. Just wanted to kind of touch on the Bidek people. I thought it was pretty interesting to me as I was reading. I was doing something with the Fataru presentation with the Sidra people and kind of ran across these people, the Bidek people. I could have gave you a little bit more on that folklore. That's what kind of drove me into the was their folklore story dealing with the bees and the Balboa tree. I knew the Balboa tree was sacred, but how they intertwined the Balboa tree and the bees into the folklore story. So I just feel like, I just said I'll put something together, maybe share uh, this culture um, with the family and show you that you had African cultures that also lived in caves as well. So the Caucasian man and woman is not the only person that lived in the caves. Anybody got anything on the panel?
Yeah, Kofi. I was gonna say, man. If you think about it, though, I know as much as we joke about cavemen and stuff, if you think about it, I mean, that's an easy dwelling place because you ain't got to build it. You know what I'm saying? It's just you go right in, set up shop. So I mean, it makes sense for primitive man or early man to dwell in caves because I mean, it's safe. And if it's a cave that got an entry, but it ain't nothing back. I mean, it ain't much back there. The only thing that could harm you is gonna be coming from in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You could get in that cave, and then the only thing that could harm you is something trying to come in there. So you ain't got to worry about too much, but you get your fire going, and it is what it is. So, man, I don't know. That's just my little take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
that's universal shelter, man. You can go in the cave and get away from the predators, get away from the weather. Like you said, build a fire. You good to go. I mean, shit, that's universal. It ain't just white people.
Yeah, but that's our thing. That cave bitch. Excuse my language. That cave beast. We use those terms when we trying to address the Caucasian or the European. Like they are the only people that lived in caves, and we didn't dwelled and lived in caves as well.
They might have just stayed in there a little bit longer than we did. That's the only thing I can think of while we do that. Because I mean, even over here in America, you got cave paintings and stuff that date back thousands of years back. So I mean, Homo sapien sapien and the other Homo.
Homo erectus.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. They dwelled in caves as well. The other stages of development and evolution, they dwelled in caves as well. So
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, we may need to figure out how far it go back.
I think it's a community in West Africa that's still living in a cave. So shit, it might still be going on today.
Yeah. I'm trying to look in the chat and see if anybody got the Emma says.
Hey, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm reading. Go ahead.
In reference to the earliest Homo sapiens being in caves, and the reason that why we're saying it's kind of crazy for y'all to do that is because all the evidence points to what we had to do. Well, the earliest Homo sapiens on the continent had to do to survive. And when you go into those caves, that's why the archaeological digs in South Africa are so important. But we so worried about name calling and saying these people are this, that, and the third. Well, in order for us to survive those high tides, they went up. They had to climb up, and they had to go in. And when they went inward, they found shelter. That's all it is shelter.
Mhm.
They didn't know any better until things could evolve, until they evolved into doing things. This is how we know they ate shellfish. This is how we know they knew how to make fire. This is how we know they knew how to make rocks. This is how we knew they knew how to make the other essential tools to survive. And that's evidence. That's evidence, period.
Yeah.
That's all.
You right. I'm trying to read some of these. What's the name to see if anybody had any questions or what they were saying. In the chat. Definitely will come on some livestock. I need to find coconuts and a good woman to give it to. Okay. Yeah, I don't see that. They ain't got no question. Huh?
Yeah, what you laughing? I'm trying to see if you laugh what I was laughing at in the chat.
Oh, I was laughing at Omega Sunlight. He said I need to find a cola nut and a good woman to give it to.
Yeah, I see that one.
Yeah, I ain't got no we getting sourced at the conclusion of the presentation. Yeah, so I guess ain't nobody got no the thing, but we'll be back this evening. Like I said, I just wanted to do the little small presentation on the Bidek People. I've been sitting on it for about 2 months. We'll be back this evening. Brother Sutek will be doing a presentation this evening at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. He'll be doing some on the reptiles. Brother Sutek, what's the name of it?
It's reptiles in Africa, African culture, part 1. I got a part 2 coming after that. But yeah, we'll be doing part 1 today, and it'll be about crocodiles and chameleons in the culture of Africa. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, it'll be interesting for y'all as it was for me putting it together. So we'll see. Y'all chill out, watch the game for a little bit. We'll come back in a couple hours.
Yeah. Talk about that reptilian race up in space. Did you?
Nah, no Yorkisms over here.
You gonna let the people know, that may boost the views. You talking like that?
Yeah, you're actually right.
Man,
People want to hear that nonsense.
Yeah, man. But so y'all tune back in. Like I said, we'll be back at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Kofi Piesie TV. Appreciate y'all. I already say this all the time because I appreciate it. Y'all could have been doing anything else with y'all time, but y'all tuned in to listen to what we got to say, man. So appreciate y'all for for tuning in. If you hadn't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, Kofi Piesie TV. If you hadn't subscribed to Mossy Warrior Clan YouTube channel, please go to Mossy Warrior Clan channel. Subscribe to that channel. Me and brother Sean are part of the Mossy Warrior Clan, so we do presentations over there on Mossy, as well as over here on Kofi Piesie TV. Also, y'all stay on the lookout for that article. Again, like I said, it's gonna be a pretty lengthy article. I'm already at 30 some pages on the article, and I'm still working on some things. I think y'all appreciate some of the information that I have in the article. I wanted to lay out a lot of information so y'all could have a better understanding of some of the African traditions, even some of the words, like I say, the misleading terms, or even the word tradition. Even the word tradition, even the word indigenous. We're gonna deal into that and see what the scholars and academia say about the word tradition, even the word indigenous. And um and hopefully, we can get away from African traditional religions, which are the ATRs. You hear someone say ATR, a lot of the people in the community say ATRs. They mean African traditional religion, or African religion, or African spirituality. I want to just try to get away from those altogether. I talk about that in the article as well, talking about, and I talk about it a little bit in the Pan-African Journal, a Killmonger's Corner. So if you hadn't got that, go to Amazon.com and get Brother Ben's journal. Where I had that article in it, but I just want to get away from that, because when we use those words, we encasing all those ethnic groups into one big old pot. Even though they are similar, they are different, and there are over 3,000 ethnic groups in Africa. So um like I said, but just we'll just be on the lookout for that interview. Like I said, I hope y'all appreciate it, because it's taking some time to put it together and get the right sources that I need, and to go a little deeper to give y'all an understanding on some things. So like I said, it'll be out next Saturday. I'm gonna drop it next Saturday morning. The Kofi Piesie written compositions .com.wordpress. And if you're interested in any other articles that I may have, you can go check those out. They're up. Please support us. Please support us. Please support us. Also check out, if you hadn't subscribed to the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, also subscribe to the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature group. I'm also a member, as well as Sean, as well as Satepara, who's on the panel. So, we really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. We do all appreciate it, man. For tuning in, because like Sean said earlier, it takes a lot for us to do, and a lot of us are in 2 or 3 different groups. I got my own platform, Kofi Piesie, where I'm trying to present and do things. I'm a part of the Mossy Warrior clan, so I'm always trying to do things over there. I'm always trying to write articles and other different things, put together presentations. Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, I'm also a member, so we over there trying to, continue to do things over there to get the channel to grow, to get more traffic over there on the channel, to get y'all up on the current things of Kemet, about the language, about the writing script, about the cultures, and etc. So please go subscribe to those channels. And again, I want to say Black African Power. I want to say Modupe. I want to say Moriri. I want to say Duar. All those, just appreciation. Thank you very much for tuning in. If anybody else on the panel got anything before I shut the show down.
Man, hope to see y'all soon.
For the record, I don't do presentations. Only Kofi do presentations. For the record, support Kofi Piesie TV.
So what you do, Sean? What you put together?
I just be talking like I don't know nothing. I'm arrogant.
Wow. Man, you got to stop buying into what them people saying, man. You got to stop
For the
buying.
record. It's for the record.
I wouldn't study none of them folks talking about, Sean. I wouldn't study, cause shit, like I said, man, I wouldn't study none of you, cause I'm saying you a big factor in a lot of these a lot of the groups that you belong to. You're a big factor in Kofi Piesie TV, Family Friendly. You're a big factor in Master Warrior Clan. You're a big factor in um, the SESU as well, man. Like I said, man, shoot, I ain't studying nothing nobody say. I'm riding with you. You you are a great teacher. Um,
Nah, man, I ain't no teacher.
yeah,
Remember, I'm a
you're great to your teacher because you're doing is a teacher. I say the same thing. I'm not a teacher, but we out here presenting information and putting information out. So we are teaching. Some people are learning. Everybody in the chat may not be learning, but somebody is learning something from what we are doing. You know what I'm saying? You're a great inspiration. You're a great motive to me. I'm just speaking for me. I can't speak for nobody else cause you're a great motivator for me. You're a great inspiration for me. I wouldn't be writing articles if it weren't for you. I wouldn't be doing presentations. You know what I'm saying? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be trying to put a book together. Um, if it wasn't, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be still in what we call the conscious social media community if it weren't for you. So man, you're a good factor. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning every time you do something. I'm learning. I appreciate what you do. I know other people appreciate what you do. They may not appreciate how you may come off at times, you know what I'm saying? But hey, that's just you. You know what I'm saying? That just you gotta take it, you know what I'm saying? Just take it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? And that's it, man. That's it. Support my brother. Support any Harriet Sean Calfunny. Go to his memoir page. He has a lot of articles on his page. This brother's putting in a lot of work. He's all over the place. I ain't everywhere he at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on every platform like my brother is, but he on them old platforms putting in the work. And I don't care where you turn on it. Sean is on somebody panel putting in putting
Sean,
in the work.
Sean is omnipresent, man. If people believe in God, Sean is the God. Sean is omnipresent. Man.
Yeah,
Hey, look, a lot of people don't know he was on the SAR show. He was on the SAR show last night.
yeah, he everywhere.
He made his way on the SAR show.
Yeah, he everywhere, man. I'll tell you, man.
the two. Everybody blame me for that, yo. I'm like, I ain't had nothing to do with that.
Sean got the Zoom guys on his side, boy.
Yeah,
All of them.
he's everywhere. I ain't mad at him. I ain't got that. I ain't got that much time. I ain't got that much patience. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be everywhere. And on everybody, I just ain't finna be on everybody. I ain't finna be on everybody panel. I'm not finna be on everybody show. That's just bottom line for me. I mean, y'all can say what it is. Y'all can say I'm a hater or whatever. I don't care, But anyway, again, appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in to Kofi Piesie TV. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Huh?
What Voss said? Why he ain't saying nothing?
Man, he must be sick.
I've just been sitting here listening. I was cleaning up my son's room, just listening to y'all build.
Oh, okay.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll be back, man. Like I said, you hadn't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Be on the lookout next week. I guess Sean, I don't know. Sean, you got something next week on Massa?
Nah, man, y'all supposed to be doing that bill.
Okay, so be on the lookout next week. Hopefully we'll be into the Fataru. We'll be doing a Fataru presentation. Me and Brother Ben doing a Fataru presentation. We're gonna keep doing those traditional, like I said, we're gonna get away from at the end of 2020. The goal is to stop saying African spirituality, African religion, and African traditional religion. We are gonna be naming these traditions. We're gonna be naming these traditions. And for some of the other traditions, go to Master Warrior Clan channel. I have the Odinani presentation on there with the Igbo people. That's their tradition. So you don't have to say that's African religion. You can call it what it is, Odinani. You can go to on the Masa, you can look at the culture in Nigeria with the Yoruba people. The Ifa, it's on there. You can go to Togo and Benin. You can look at the presentation with also on this channel at Kofi Piesie TV 2 is part 1. Part 2 is on Master Warrior Clan. The Voodoo presentation in Togo, Benin, and in Haiti. The Akum tradition in Ghana, you know what I'm saying, with the Akan, the Ashanti, the Oud, the Ga, the etc. It's on the channel. The Winty presentation is on the channel. The Obey that Ben did is on the channel. The Bakongo tradition is on the Masi, not the it's on this channel. Man, it's so many. I done done so many of the digital traditions, and we're gonna keep doing it. So the next one is the Fata rule. We're gonna come back and we're gonna keep doing some more so we can start calling them by their indigenous traditional name. Even though after the article, I'm trying to get away from indigenous. Well, we can keep indigenous, but let's get away from tradition. You will see why I mean the word tradition, because we can use tradition for Christianity and Islam and say African tradition was Islam and Christianity. You know what I'm saying too, but you will see why I say that when we get to the article, when we review over tradition, review of what tradition really is, why scholars arguing over the word tradition, academia arguing over the word tradition. We're going to break down the tradition. We're going to go into the etymology of tradition in that article as well. But we out of here, man. Black African power, man. Peace, family. We'll see y'all later. Yeah, baby, we out.